Happy evening, viewers. Welcome to our 33rd episode of our Sales Mastery podcast. And as we set off in the journey of starting this particular podcast was to get interviews from distinguished, highly successful people who have launched a different path and are deeply into their own personal development process and right now making a huge difference in the world by their thought leadership and with their innovative thinking. Friends, it's my honor and pleasure that today I have the honor of talking with a very close friend of mine, a person who was born in Sri Lanka, but now working in Maldives, and I've been having the opportunity of meeting him in the 4 months thrice, and we have already developed a very close bond between ourselves. Okay. The person whom I'm talking about is Mr. Ridha Alayad. He is right now looking after Emirates overall passenger sales in Maldives, and he's recognized today as a thought leader and an expert par excellence in the airline industry of Maldives. He finished his Master of Science in Management from Sri Lanka and has been working in various airlines starting from Sri Lanka Airlines, then Jet Airways, and then moved on to Emirates, which is one of the top 3 airlines in the world today, and occupying this very, very responsible post. So, Ridha, welcome to the Sales Mastery podcast.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure. Honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ridha. And whenever I talked with Ridha has come out with a very, very powerful topic called as substance versus style. And I felt that in this podcast of Sales Mastery, we keep on talking about how various concepts, various distinctions, various principles can help us in further improving one's personal power and selling power. So when we were discussing about it, I felt that it is very important for our viewers to understand the difference between the two and how they can use the deeper understanding of these style versus substance concept in order to make oneself more powerful personally as well as improve their selling effectiveness. So, Ridha sir, we are going to learn from you about this distinction, and it's real our honor that we could have you for this podcast. And I'm sure viewers at the end of this podcast will be able to get this additional clarity on this very, very important distinction and thereby make ourselves a better person than what we were before we heard this podcast. So, Ridha sir, I wanted to ask you this. This style and substance you have been talking with a lot of passion. So can you please explain to our viewers what is the basic fundamentals of this?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you very much for having me. It's an absolute honor for me to be in your podcast, and I'm excited to share some of these ideas. And I think it's a learning for all of us. We're all here.
Absolutely.
We learn every day. And in my process of learning 30 years of the airline industry, what I've understood that is there is something called style versus substance in life. And we as humans have this innate quality where we are always looking for style in everything.
Right.
So coming from an airline background, if you asked anyone in this part of the world or even in other parts of the world, name 10 top airlines in the world, there will be different airlines that people would name. But there's 3 unique airlines that will always be there in the top 10 list. And this is Singapore Airlines, Emirates Airlines, and Qatar Airways. And I've had the privilege through my career of 30 years of directly or indirectly working with them. And the past 10 years, I'm working with Emirates Airlines. And you look at all these airlines, there is something unique about them. And,
Absolutely.
And what are they doing differently compared to the other airlines? There's something definitely unique about them that's kept them at the top, and that is style.
Yes.
Substance is air travel.
Yes.
Everyone has air travel. There's about 2,000 airlines in the world, commercial airlines. There are about 2,000. When you strike the right balance between style and substance, you strike gold.
Absolutely.
So, for example, Emirates Airlines brands themselves as a luxury product, a premium airline, an airline that gives you premium product. The complete opposite of that in the world is AirAsia.
Yeah.
Their substance is also air travel, their style is budget. So style versus substance is about striking the balance between the two, depending on the market segment that you are targeting. So this is style versus substance, and it applies to everything in life.
Brilliant, brilliant. And that's how when we were discussing about this this particular distinction, you told me that this you got inspired because as a very highly spiritual and religious person, you were very inspired from Quran. Can you give us that context as well? Because I really found it to be very valuable,
Yeah.
and I think this would be appreciated by people around.
Yeah. So I'm very passionate about sharing knowledge and
Yes.
giving back. I've been in this airline industry for 30 years. And in my search on how to deliver to others and what we can share with people, I was always open and looking for something that I can share with people. And I have this habit of whenever I have time, usually very early in the morning, I'm a morning person. I listen to a little bit of Quran, which helps me to understand and connect with faith. Whatever your faith, when you have that connection, you tend to improve and be a better person. So listening to Quran, there's this verse where it goes as أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى السَّمَاءِ فَوْقَهُمْ. Do you not look at the skies and how it's been created? And this got me thinking, God has created this world with so much style in it.
Brilliant.
You take the night sky and these stars that are shining. This is style. The substance is the planets that are there. But for us, there's stars. Why does the sky become blue color? And the mountains in greenery and this brown. And there's a lot of style. You take fruits. Oranges could have just been mush. When a baby eats an orange and throws it out, it sucks on it, it's just mush and it's still an orange.
Right.
But God has created it in orange color and there's this peel around it. And if you take anything in life, humans, we are searching for style and substance. So this is how I came to understand that there is this key element of style versus substance. You take a husband and how he shows love to his wife.
Yes.
Is about style. Each person would have, substance is love. But how you narrate it to your partner is the style. Depending on this, your wife may like your style and not like your style. And this applies to sales.
Yes.
How a salesperson convinces the customer is based on the style of his delivery. So substance, maybe you're selling whatever. And this is how I came to understand it when listening to the Quran, that there is something, there's gold for me to take from it and share it with the others. And that is style versus substance.
Brilliant, Ridha. I really got the context very beautifully. And I could get this sense that ultimately substance and style, both of them are important, both of them are complementary, and both of them add two and fourth substance and power to the whole thing.
True.
And coming about this, talking about substance, substance basically means also the core values, core principles, the core quality consciousness of a particular person, product or organization. Am I right?
True.
So that also becomes important, and that cannot be compromised, because as they say in our company, we say today's quality is tomorrow's business.
True.
So from that perspective, substance also has to be holistic, and it also has to have a deep foundational base. Am I right?
100%. 100%. Substance is the key.
Right.
Substance is the key. Now, if you do not have the substance, there's whatever style is not going to work.
Right.
So anyone in whatever industry you are in, you have to strike the proper balance of substance versus style. You cannot have too much of each, then you're not going to really strike the gold in sales. So you need to have that proper balance in it. So if you look at it from an airline perspective,
Yes.
if you look at Singapore Airlines, they've created this, their substance is airline. Their substance is, they're a pioneer in the airline industry. They've been in it
Yes.
for nearly 40, 50, 60 years as an airline. But the style that they bring in of being the Singapore girl, of the luxury that is there, and the premium product, so they've struck a proper balance between the two, and this keeps changing. With time, you have to innovate, you have to adapt to the market conditions, and you have to keep increasing your style and reducing your style, but your substance still remains the same.
Yeah.
Substance is the key element.
Brilliant, absolutely. In fact, I think each and every, especially the youngsters, because this particular Sales Mastery podcast is basically, Ridha sir, is to basically help these young entrepreneurs, the budding entrepreneurs, to get the right basics and to adopt these proven concepts and distinctions and principles in their life, so that at an early age, if they can get these insights from distinguished, highly successful people like you, I think it can really transform their life. So friends, as Ridha sir rightly said, you can't compromise on the substance, and then you have to also develop a unique style which will enable you to have this balance and thereby create a winning formula.
Absolutely.
So as Ridha sir rightly said, don't compromise, because even when I take this perspective and extrapolate it to sales, in sales there are some of the fundamental values. You can't be cheating your customer, you can't be just manipulating your customer, you can't be selling it by any hook or by crook. You have to have the basic ingredient, that moral value of selling them value and ensuring that you are giving more than what you take.
100%.
And there is no compromise on that.
True.
Keeping that fundamental of substance in place, then you can develop your unique style in order to become more effective.
True.
Right, sir?
True, 100%. Because you have all the style and no substance, you're going to crash.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, there are brands around the world that had the substance, okay, but they went on about style more than the substance, and they've crashed today.
Absolutely.
You look at Nokia. Nokia had the substance. Telephone is the substance, but their style was the add-ons that were coming with it, and they didn't adapt to it. And there are airlines that have crashed, because they were too heavy on the style, where meanwhile they were not focusing enough on the substance. So airlines have crashed in this region, where airlines have crashed because they did not use the substance and the style in fair balance of the two.
Absolutely. In fact, I can immediately identify with Vijay Mallya sir's Kingfisher Airlines. It had a lot of style, and we as passengers used to like it also.
True.
But ultimately, when the substance was hollow in terms of its intrinsic values, it just fell down and collapsed and disappeared. And today, the gentleman who was one of the richest men in India, or the most dynamic business person, just had to leave his country.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you look at some of the airlines that have crashed in this region, and the reason is that they were heavy on style, and they were going down on their substance. So as I said, you have to have agility. So altitude and attitude. As what we previously discussed this, and that's when before planning. Altitude and attitude is something that you have to have. Attitude is very important. It's an element of your style.
Right.
Where if you don't adapt and have that agility in terms of providing substance, at the same time striking a balance with your style. So if you take India today, I think it's a giant in terms of this huge potential for airlines to grow in this region.
Right.
You look at airline business, there is huge potential for the airline business. We are still at the tip of the iceberg in terms of airline potential. So there are some airlines in this region that are making money, but you have to be careful that you strike a proper balance between style and substance. So if you take some of the airlines today in this region, I believe that they need to have that agility in substance versus style. If you become too heavy on style, you will go down the drain. Style is very important element, but at the same time, substance is your key.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I can quite correlate to what you are talking about. In India today, especially in this monopolistic environment, sometimes you feel the passengers get taken for granted, and even a cup of cup of water is given in a, in a cup rather than at least being dispensed in a bottle. So that sometimes puts you in a very negative light. The customer satisfaction index is very, very low, and that's where where people become too much into one side at the cost of the other can also be there.
Absolutely.
And Ridha sir, as you rightly said, as we were discussing, the altitude of your success depends upon the attitude that you harbor.
True.
And as we all know, 85% of success in life depends upon the attitude. And as you very brilliantly and rightly said, that attitude is something which you have to continuously keep on owning it up as per the situation. And you mentioned about agility, adaptability, and being balanced. Can you advise to these youngsters who are the main watchers of this particular podcast, how should they develop these attitude? What would help them to develop it?
See, with regard to attitude, what happens is you need to stay grounded.
Yes, yes.
You need to understand your ground conditions and not have this, if for example, if I take an airline example, if an airline like Qatar Airways was to think that I'm the market leader, I don't need to connect with the people, I don't need to understand what is the market conditions, they're going to crash. So no matter how big you are or no matter how small you are, you need to understand to be connected to the ground level. And whatever your substance, maybe you're selling tea at a small stall, but you need to understand the customer perspective where you are connected at a ground level to understand your market. What happens with a lot of people is you are only thinking about making money. Okay, I want to make money, I want to be the millionaire. But how you do that should be through the passion and the dedication that you have towards what you're doing. When you don't have the passion, when you lose your passion to what you're doing, and your passion is making money, I always tell youngsters that I'm talking to, money will come as long as you stay true to your attitude.
Very true.
So don't be too connected to the altitude.
Yes.
You need to have your attitude. Your passion should be to do what you love, and whatever you do it with passion. Money will come.
Very true. Very well said, sir. Because you have to have patience, as you rightly said. Again, a very, very important attitude.
Yeah.
And you have to have empathy.
Absolutely.
And at the same time, you can't sacrifice your moral values and try to take a shortcut.
Yeah.
Because taking shortcuts in the long run becomes a very painful process.
This is one of the issues we have in today's context is everyone wants to take a shortcut. Everyone wants to be a quick millionaire.
Yes.
Whereas it's not as easy as said. You might find, and because of social media today, we see, okay, that guy's made $1 million. I want to be that. But we don't realize the hard path, the road that he's taken to come to that level. So no one does it through ease. There's sacrifices that you have to make. And there's so many stumbling and falling. And, you think about a marathon runner who's running up a mountain. We only think of him at the finish line, but he may have fallen 10 times while climbing up to the mountain. All the bruises and the cuts that he's had climbing up the mountain. So we see them at the finish line and say, oh, I want to climb up to the mountain.
Absolutely.
But that pathway is not going to be easy, but you have to stay on that path and you need to keep pushing towards it.
Very well said, sir. Very well. I think the attitudinal point which you are highlighting are so very important. Like, need to have empathy, need to have compassion, need to have adaptability, need to have agility, and all of these are traits which can be developed. I think, and as a successful and a thought leader in your subject, I have seen you personally also. You are so humble, you are so open-minded, you are so generous, you are so taking care. How did you develop all these qualities?
It's the path that has taken me through one. I mean, today I may be heading the largest airline operation largest international airline operation in the Maldives, but my path has not been easy.
Yeah.
I started as an office boy and as an office assistant at the age of 17, where I had not even finished my education. Situations were such where I had to work, and I have come up the hard way. Working, taking, those days, I mean, now we have kids who can sit on a computer and type and you can print out a ticket. But those days we have to, take an exchange order. I come from an era where in between the technological world and the non-tech world, So we used to write the tickets by hand. I would sit and write 400, 500 tickets in a day. And it was not easy. You have carbon copied paper where you have to write on it, then tear the pages, and that I came up the hard way. And I've had ups and downs through life, where we've had, we all will, something that I always tell people, everyone has a story to tell about their life. But you have to understand your story. A lot of people, once you've reached a level, forget your past stories.
Brilliant, yeah, very well said.
So for me, I'm still connected to my past story. And I still believe that I'm a humble guy at the end, and I have to, and I see youngsters who are trying to come up, and I want to help them. So that's why I share my story, because I would love to tell them, this is your path, this is how you would do it. And if there's any simple task I can help someone come up in life, I would think that's my gift.
Brilliant. I think you said it very, very beautifully, that there's no shortcuts to success, and there is no shortcut to hard work. And understandably, you go through that ladder, and I totally subscribe to what you say. People who have sudden successes fall down also equally fast.
True.
Whereas people like you and me, we have gone through all the rigors of life. We have had our own,
and that keeps us connected.
Absolutely.
That keeps us grounded.
Absolutely.
So I love helping people. I love doing philanthropy and staying connected with the.
Absolutely.
You would still find me. The other day I was in office, and there were some chairs which was not in place, and I was helping my boy who was doing this work, and he said, "Sir, no." I said, "No, why? It's okay for me to help you."
Dignity of labor.
Dignity, yeah. So we are all human, end of the day.
Absolutely. I think this is what is the hallmark of great people. This is what is the hallmark of people or true leaders who are inspirers. And you are one, Ridha Sahab, whom I know. And I think you are going to make a lot of difference to people. Now, I was also looking at this aspect under the subject of style and substance, and also going a little bit deeper. They said trend is your friend. And they also talk about every leader or need to have a mind which anticipates and forecasts. How important is this?
See,
the current scenario?
Absolutely, yeah. So at whatever level you are in, you have to adapt to the trend that's going on.
Yes.
If you don't adapt to it, and you need to have that agility where it's a mindset.
Yes.
I always say this, agility is a mindset. If you don't have that resourcefulness to adapt to a trend, and to have that foresight to come and capture that moment, you will not really cash in on it. This is where style versus substance plays a key role.
Right.
Whatever your substance, the style can change to that particular moment. So if you take the airline industry, trends are a key element. We look at now, if you have different style seasons. You get the holiday season where families go on holiday. You get the education traveler who travels for studies.
Yes.
So there are different markets that people travel for. You get the pilgrim movement.
Yes.
If you take this region, has some of the largest pilgrim travelers.
Right.
You get the Christian travelers going to Velankani, going to Jerusalem. You get the Muslim pilgrims traveling to Makkah, and you get the Hindus going for Sabarimalai. You get the Buddhist travelers going to Buddha Gaya and Varanasi. There's a lot of pilgrim travel. So these are trends. Airline has to keep this in mind. If you're operating to these particular destinations, you have to keep those trends in mind. Okay, so if you're not agile enough to adapt to these trends, you're not going to cash in. Whatever industry you are in, you have to adapt to that particular trend, and that's when your style and substance plays to your element.
Absolutely, and the word which you used is very, very important. Having that balance, and this balance is not one stable point; it keeps on fluctuating.
Absolutely.
Because today, Ridha sir, you'll also appreciate that today we are in a VUCA world where everything is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And they now say that we are moving towards a Bani world, which is brittle, anxiety-ridden, non-linear,
Yeah.
and also non-comprehensible. So, what is your take on this?
I like to use this term that I heard recently, which says we are not in a real world, we are in a real world today, where people are on a 60-second attention span.
Right,
So, because everyone's on a reel, everyone wants to create reels.
Very
so, it's a real world and not a real world. So, this relates to something where everything changes very fast.
Yes.
Your trend today may not be the trend tomorrow.
Yes.
So if you take your being in sales, you have to have that agility to know what is your trend for the moment.
Yes.
You see this with influencers. They use the trend of that particular season to make sure that you capture that algorithm.
Yes.
So in the world of social media, in the world of tech, you need to adapt and be aware of your surrounding. So if you're a leader, you need to have that awareness of your surrounding and adapt to that particular situation. If not, you will not be able to strike a balance between the style and substance.
Absolutely. In fact, from what I can summarize of the attitude, agility, curiosity, resourcefulness, and responsiveness is what you are hinting at. And these are the four attitudes which every human being, and more so the youngsters who want to become an entrepreneur, have to really imbibe, understand, and practice and master it.
True.
In order for them to be successful in this very, very fast changing, as we say, VUCA world or Bani world, which is something which is there because technology is becoming a big disruptor. So what is your thinking about it? Because with this technological breakthrough, especially with the onset of artificial intelligence, robotics, nanotechnology, how is this impacting the equation between substance and style?
See, now with regard to artificial intelligence, there is this big hum in the among everyone that okay, AI is going to take away the jobs. I believe AI will not take away your job, and I remember there was someone who said this beautifully, that AI will not replace your job. It will be those who use AI that will replace your job. I think it was Kiruba who said this. Kiruba who said this.
Yes.
Where it was
in the Maldives
during the
at
the convention, that AI is not going to replace your job, but those who use AI will replace your job. So this is a brilliant quote that stuck with me the moment he said it.
Absolutely.
And I think this is the key today.
Absolutely.
You have to adapt. You have to learn, and use it. Now, if you take the airline industry is one industry which is using AI extensively, and has been using it for quite some time. So if you take Dubai, they use facial recognition. You don't have to have your passport to go through your gates. And Singapore is using AI today. And I think, even in India, you take Bangalore Airport, and their, innovation with adapting AI. It's brilliant. And I would encourage youngsters to get into AI, use it smartly. Do not think that, okay, it's an easy way out, but use it to your benefit in terms of making it your style, not your substance.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, I know you as a person who's also not only thinking in terms of your commercial or a professional success, also from the perspective of holistic well-being. I think substance and style also has got to do with your health.
Absolutely.
Okay, your physical, your mental health.
True.
And today the world is really gone into a mental unfitness epidemic.
Yeah.
And also because of the physical unfitness also. So
Yeah.
what is your take on this, and how would you correlate this to the style and substance of the...
Yeah, again, I think we have to be aware of ourselves. One thing that people don't realize, the greatest gift that any human being has, there are two or three that you can relate to. One is time,
Yes.
one is your health.
Yes.
So you have to make sure that you invest in your health
Yes.
and stay active in your life.
Yes.
So they say there are three currencies in the world. One is time, one is health, and one is your knowledge.
Yes.
So make sure that you invest in these three:
Yes. Very true.
time, health, and your knowledge.
Yes.
These three currencies are the key elements of your life. So
Very well said.
to a certain stage, we neglect our health
Yes.
until you come to a stage. But if you can consciously understand that the greatest wealth you have is your health,
Yes.
and be conscious about yourself, have an active lifestyle,
Yes.
invest at least 1 hour a day in staying active and healthy. Food patterns. In the corporate world, one of the meals that we miss every day is your breakfast.
Yes.
I have my breakfast by 7:30.
Wow.
I'm a morning person. I'm awake by 4:35, and by
Brilliant.
7:30 I've had my breakfast. Have 5 meals a day, but not big meals. It's small meals. This is my style.
Yes.
Substance is the food in your lifestyle, but then my style is that I have 5 meals a day, but I have it in small, intermittent, because health is very important.
Very true.
The moment you realize that your health is deteriorating, everything else is worthless. All the money in the world cannot get you anything if your health is not there.
Absolutely right. Again, I can correlate because I'm also a very, very deep believer in this holistic well-being. And we have also a community called as Golden Hour community, where we all meet every day, as you rightly said, invest that 1 hour to take care of your panchakoshas.
Yes.
That is your physical body, Annamay Kosh, the mental body, the Manomay Kosh, the Vijnanamay Kosh, the intellectual body, the Pranamay Kosh, the life force, and the Anandamay Kosh, the spiritual body. And as you brilliantly said, when you are able to take care of these 5 koshas, the 5 different aspects of your health, then you really lead a holistic life. And as you very brilliantly said, sometimes in the wrong pursuit of extreme style of eating this processed food or this so-called fast food, I think youngsters are really sacrificing the substance of good health.
Absolutely. Because there's a fine line that you have to draw. Not that extreme or this extreme.
Yes.
You take people who are fitness freaks, who don't enjoy life at all, and they're so fitness freak. End of the day, you've lost a lot.
Yes.
So you have to draw a line where you have both ends of the world.
Yes.
But then again, it comes to style versus substance, depending on which is more important and which is not. You have to strike the balance between the two. So if you take someone who's living as an air hostess, she has to maintain her health. There are certain body weight limits that they have to maintain. But at the same time, if you're going to compromise your health for it, it's not worth it. If you're working in an IT field and you're spending 12 hours seated in a chair in this hunched position, where today most youngsters, they're on a computer and working, and they don't spend some time walking around. Your spine is one of the most important elements of your health.
Very true.
And you don't walk around, get up, stretch. And yoga teaches this in a beautiful manner. And every religion has these elements of it. You just have to go down to the basics of it.
Absolutely. In fact, in my company, Pacific Trends, we have 50% of people who follow Islam, and we insist that they do the 5-time namaz. Because of that, my productivity has gone up.
Yeah.
So as you rightly said, the holistic well-being and the balance between style and substance is very important. I think, sir, you have really explained this concept in all dimension, professionally, you personally and also in terms of holistic well-being. I think each and every member who's going to watch this, who's watching us live or who's going to watch this, is really going to have a real debate and understanding of this beautiful concept of style and substance. Just from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for taking out your valuable time and sharing your rich experience and rich expertise and your deep thinking and giving this nuggets of wisdom to all our viewers. And I'm sure when we put this in the YouTube channel, it's going to impact thousands and thousands of youngsters to live a really more prosperous, more purposeful, and a more happy life. So thank you very much from the bottom of your heart.
It's a pleasure. Wonderful.
And any last minute recommendation or advice you like to give it to our viewers?
My recommendation is be humble and give back. Another important element is give back something towards the others. Look at the people around you. Give something that connects. What you have, when you give it to others, it never reduces, it multiplies in tenfolds. If you can give back something to the world around you, you will be successful in life. This is my message to the world.
Thank you, Ridha. Such an extraordinary message. Thank you very much. And request all the participants to, on behalf of them, I thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
Beautiful thing. Thank you and God bless. We look forward to meeting you again in the next episode of our Sales Mastery podcast, which will be the 34th one, which we will be bringing to you very shortly. Thank you and God bless. Thank you.